YouTube, what's up? Northeast Ohio, here for the weekly recap across the wonderful world of the sports card hobby, / investing, / collecting, / taking all the cards from the kids. We've got a bunch of different things we want to talk about today. We're going to go golf, football, baseball, basketball. That is the order. YouTube stuff down below. Like, comment, sub. You guys know the drill. Smash that like. Hit the sub if you're not. Come along the ride. And we will be working in Market Movers a bunch again today. The links to that are down below as well, where you can find all these informational charts, graphs, and whatnot, all on your own with a discount code included. Star Stock stuff still going on. And the normal Amazon links for shipping supplies and whatnot are also down there. So let's get into it. First thing I want to talk about, little I told you so. I think it was 3 weeks ago now, right after Christmas, right at the first of the year, I talked about this Tiger Woods Upper Deck PSA 10, warning everybody that this was a classic pump and dump and to sell if you had it, because the price was gonna crash. I made that video right around here-ish. I forget which day it was exactly, but it was right near this little peakity peak. And people in the comments were like, nah, man, this is just Tiger finally getting his due. He's got this HBO documentary coming out, like this, that, the other thing. And I was like, well, I don't think so. That's not what I'm seeing and hearing. I mean, yes, there was a documentary coming out and whatnot, but lo and behold, what has happened? It went up and then came right back down again. Now, to be fair, you have doubled-ish your money. The last average sales were right around $600. There's just one outlier here that upped the average sales, but there was a really weird sale in here. Otherwise, if it wasn't for that, we'd be right at this high $500 level with an ending average of $589, which is about right where it should be. Now, it was 300 prior to this and then spiked up. So yeah, you're up almost double from where you initially started. It just depends on where you bought on the upswing. Hopefully you had it or bought back here, not bought up here. So it looks like we have a new floor. My guess is that this stays right around 550, 500 to 575. And that's basically the new floor until something else happens that causes it to go up. But like the Ja Morant video yesterday, got to be careful out there when you see weird price swings like this. Do your homework. Never buy anything because someone tells you to. Buy something because you did the research on it and it lines up with your thinking. You know, cast a wide net. Listen to people. You know, take in their information, but don't just take it as gospel and go buy stuff. Take what I say, take what any other one else on YouTube says or an article. Go do the homework, and if it lines up with what you're seeing and your thought processes, then execute it. Next, let's talk some football. I pulled up all 4 quarterbacks remaining just for the hell of it, just to see what was going on. Most of them are up. Brady is way up. His base, and he's got a lot of rookies. I went with the Bowman's best. PSA 10, only pop 450. This card is up an astronomical amount this week. Up 47% from $5,000 to $7,000, basically. I rounded up a little bit there. But yeah, cha-ching. One of the trends that you're going to see in today's video are the GOATs are on fire, or basically just anyone that's a Hall of Fame candidate across any of the sports are on fire. Their stuff is just going crazy. And I think it was led by the Jordan and LeBron rookies going absolutely insane. And people are very quickly starting to realize, man, the pop counts on a lot of this stuff's really low, and these guys aren't going anywhere. Brady's Brady, LeBron's LeBron, spoilers, Derek Jeter's Derek Jeter, et cetera, et cetera. And people are really starting to flock to this stuff. And when you have pop counts this low and people buy it up, the supply dwindles extremely quickly. That's why you're seeing these crazy price increases on a lot of these vintage guys. Not that Brady's vintage, he's still playing, but you know what I mean. Let's continue on down the trek here. Patrick Mahomes. Now, I went with his optic because his prism is a silver, because in 17, all rookie prisms were silver, and that one's astronomically high. So I went with his optic, which is the more common man's PSA 10. And you can see he's actually down a little bit, down 8%. Started the week at 1850, down to 1700, which he did the same thing last year in the run up to the Super Bowl. He actually peaked this weekend and then went down from there, and then obviously flattened out and then spiked up huge during the summer, and then like rinse and repeat with the waves. Go up, come back down a little bit, establish a new floor, go up, come back down a little bit, establish a new floor, et cetera, et cetera. So Mahomes is actually flat. And I don't know if that, people are just thinking this is a hotly contested game, whatever. I don't know. But his stuff's flat. And I'm assuming it's just a repeat of last time. People are maybe just holding to see if they make it to the Super Bowl. They're just holding Mahomes in general. I don't know. But that's where we sit with him. Let's look at Josh Allen. His stuff's up 20%, up $150, started at 885. Ended the week at just over 1,000. And his stuff's been on a roller coaster ride the last couple weeks. And I can see his stuff spiking up more before the Super Bowl if they would win. Not that that's a shocker, but his pop count's very low. There's only 800 of these, not even 800 of these in PSA 10. That's a pretty limited number and probably a high demand. And like I said, what we're going to see is, my guess, after this weekend, a lot of these guys are going to start dropping if it follows like it did last year. And last but not least, another one of the all-time greats, Aaron Rodgers. His stuff is also way up. You can see these Brady and Rodgers are seeing much bigger gains from last week to this week, and really the last couple weeks, than Allen and Mahomes are. Rodgers, this is his tops, 2005. Is up 33% on the week, from 1,000 to almost 1,400, and 1,600 of these, almost 1,700 of these, which really isn't a lot. A lot of these, as soon as you go back a couple of years, these population counts look so low compared to like 18, 19, 19, 20 basketball and even baseball. Like how many Juan Soto tops are out there? 1 billion. So those are your 4 quarterbacks. I will be curious to see how the football market goes once we're just down to 2 teams after today. Let's talk baseball really quick. We're going to talk about a couple individual players. Actually just one, but we're going to kind of just look down the chart really quick. So this is the price movement by card chart, which I use all the time. This is probably the chart I spend the most time on in market movers. Just kind of clicking around, looking at different sports, different filters and whatnot. So what I have selected here is baseball, PSA 10, the last 7 days, and I have it sorted by number of sales, because this just kind of gives me an idea of what is going on out there, who's selling a lot, who's getting listed a lot, just a nice, very quick visual reference for that kind of data, and also gives you percentages and dollar changes. So up towards the top, we see a little bit of a flattening. Soto has basically flattened out on both his paper and his chrome. Tatis as well. He's up just a tiny little bit. His Topps chrome's up 3%. These things have already made huge jumps. Soto, Tatis, and Acuna made the 3 really big jumps right around the first of the year, where they were going up 10 to 25% a week. Now it's kind of starting to filter down to other people. The really hot one, and I didn't pull individual charts on him, but Vlad Guerrero Jr., a bunch of his stuff is up 20 to 30% this week. including this Topps Heritage, which is way up there, which I was surprised by. Usually people don't love Topps Heritage. They like the other stuff better, like regular Topps and Topps Chrome. But the Heritage is really popular. I personally like the look of Heritage because it reminds me of the cards from when I was younger. And so when I just kind of buy semi-casually, because I'm not a biggest baseball guy in the world, I gravitate towards Heritage sometimes, and also because of the price point. You can see his PSA 10 was only $37. It costs $30 right now just to grade anything with PSA to get it back in any reasonable amount of time. And I'm wondering if part of this shift is people are starting to realize that. A lot of this baseball PSA 10 stuff is a lot cheaper when you're coming from the basketball world. The prices are almost shocking. When you're like, wait, I could get a PSA 10 of a semi-trendy guy for like $35. Are you kidding me? In the NBA, that gotta be like $150 minimum. And they are different worlds. But, you know, when you look at the cost of the grading fee, the time, the shipping, the insurance, anyone with a pulse basically should have a certain price floor of a PSA 10. And the Blue Jays are also getting a little bit of buzz because they signed Springer. They almost had Brantley, and they're making some other moves. So his stuff's pretty far up. Jason Dominguez stuff from this past year's Bowman is up a decent amount. Eloy Jimenez is up 20%. I actually really like him quite a bit. More so than Lou Bob, almost. Sorry, Nats, man. Couple guys coming down a little bit, but, you know, I think a lot of this is just a little bit market fluctuation. You could see Vlad Guerrero Topps Chrome up 55%. And this is not his main rookie. The big one people want is the no number, which is shorter print and not super rare, but that's the one that usually leads the pack in terms of pricing. Here's some Lou Bob Bowman Chrome up 30%. Pete Alonso's getting a lot of action the last few weeks as well, with the Mets making some noise. You can see his base PSA 10 Topps is actually #1 for sales on the chart, but only at $50, and it's basically stayed flat. Once again, a guy with a pulse on a PSA 10. I know it's paper and I know it's baseball, different worlds, but I could see why this one's up towards the top, especially with the Mets getting a lot of buzz lately in the Major League Baseball hot stove. I've been buying, and I'm going to make a separate video about this, I think. I've shifted a lot of my star stock buying, and I mentioned this in previous videos, into baseball. I have ran my star stock baseball collection up to an estimated value of around $1,000, if not more. And I'm just continuing the stockpile baseball as I see deals. And I'm actually finding good deals on a lot of graded cards. For example, and this is one of the edges on star stock. A lot of people freak out about the A's, the B's, and the C's, et cetera, et cetera. What I've been buying a lot of is graded cards. PSA 10s, PSA 9s. Baseball, I've been buying a lot of PSA 10s. So, for example, I will use this Vlad Topps Heritage. I noticed today that this has been shooting up lately. And I went and looked at Star Stock, and there is a bunch of PSA 10s on Star Stock for about $49 or $50. Now, that's the going market rate, you may say. Sure, yes, it is. So did I get much of a deal? On paper, no. But let's think about it. If I go to eBay and buy a card for $50, I have to pay tax on it. So that's 6.5% to 7%. And then typically I got to pay $3 to $5 to ship it. Okay, that $50 card just turned into, you know, maybe a $60 card or a, $57 card, $58 card. Okay, cool. Well, then when I go to sell it, I'm going to eat 13% eBay fees on the back end, plus, shipping and whatnot. So now I got to make up another 10% on top of that profit to just break even. Star Stock, I buy it for $49.99. It costs $49.99, no taxes, no shipping. And when I go to sell it, it's only a 5% fee. And it's a PSA 10, so I don't need to worry about any of the Star Stock ABC shenanigans that a lot of people are concerned about. So for baseball, I'm going to try it. I think for baseball, I am going to exclusively work on Star Stock. Now, I don't plan on doing a ton of baseball flips, but that's just kind of my thought process heading in. And I'll do a little bit of a deeper dive on what I'm doing with baseball on Star Stock, maybe early this week. That'll be a good thing for us to talk about on there. Oops, sorry about that. One more baseball thing really quick. Jeter stuff's flying lately. I pulled up his classic 92 draft pick from 93 Topps. remember seeing tons of these cards as a kid. PSA 10, $926, up 55%. Started the week at 600, ended the week at 926. I didn't pull the chart on it, but his SP, the silver one that's a nightmare grade, is also flying right now. And once again, I think this just trickled down from the Jordan, LeBron stuff driving the Legends market. And now it's starting to trickle down to all the other sports. You're seeing it in football. Jerry Rice's stuff has been doing really well lately. A lot of old school basketball stuff's doing really well. And now, a lot of guys in baseball are doing well. I saw Jeter was way up. I didn't pull it, but McGuire stuff was way up. Griffey 89 tops, PSA 10s are doing pretty well. All that stuff's way up. Let's pop over to basketball. Oh, basketball. So the modern basketball market has really cooled lately. Once again, we are in the price movement by card chart, filtered by number of sales, and PSA 10 just to filter out the raw card variants. Number one on the list is Zion PSA 10, down another 7% this week to pretty much one of its low points in a long time at 655. RJ Barrett's up slightly. John Morant's up slightly, surpassing Zion, even with the market manipulation. His price is legitimately past Zion. So that has finally happened. John Morant base prism has finally passed Zion. It basically took a full calendar year for that to happen, but it has finally happened, and I honestly don't see it going back. Anyone that's been a fan of the channel for a while knows that I have been all aboard Ja over Zion since forever. I have tons of Ja stuff and very little Zion stuff. And I will continue to pick up Ja stuff if I find stuff on the dip. Anything that I could find, especially I've really been targeting the lower pop count stuff like that Optic Purple, the Revolution. I would really like a select premier level, but boy, the price has shot up on those. Kobe White down a little bit. Zion Mosaic actually up a little bit. Luka, Trey all down a little bit. Kevin Porter Jr., PSA 10 Prism base, got a little bump with the trade to the Rockets. Pour one out for my guy, KPJ. One of my favorite players that I invested in the offseason on the low. Stuff actually got a little bit of a price bump. Now, I got in so low. His shenanigans haven't been a killer, but now that he is not on the Cavs, part of the reason why I like KPJ so much was I thought his stuff was undervalued, and he played for my favorite team. So it was like a double win. So I semi-PC'd him and also liked it from the investing standpoint. But now that he's been traded and with the issues going on with him, I'm waiting to see if he's going to get some playing time and then probably look to move off of a bulk of my KPJ shares. So if you were big on KPJ, let me know. I have tons of KPJ stuff. Prism variations, a bunch of autos, all sorts of nonsense. What else is going on? Standard stuff. You got a few guys coming up, few guys coming down, but nothing too. The biggest news makers of the week are Ja passing Zion, Zion market continuing to go down, the Trey and Luka markets trending down slightly. Luka PSA 10 prisms are down to about 1,500 you could get them for now. Trey continues to come down, though he did have a couple good games the last couple days, so maybe his prices pull back up with him having some 40-pointers, but we'll see. Let's get into just a couple of individual cards, and then we will skedaddle. I made that video earlier this week. I believe that was about Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan, about their prices going crazy, and that has continued. Here's Kobe the last 7 days, his PSA 10 tops prism. His PSA 10 tops 96, up 20% the last 7 days, which is a $900 change. From 4,800 to 5,800 almost. Dwyane Wade seeing a big price increase. His tops chrome, the legendary LeBron one. Wade was in that class too. Tops chrome only popped 656, very low. Went up 70% this week, 1,500 to 2,500. If there is any Hall of Fame level player that you are interested in, go buy them now, because everyone is seeing massive price increases because of this LeBron and Jordan stuff. Like I talked about at the beginning of the video, people are really beginning to realize the low population on these guys and how safe they are as investments. And I'm wondering if that's partially what's causing some of the Zion, Trey, etc. price trends going down. If people are looking to sell that stuff to go buy Wade, Kobe, LeBron, etc. Kevin Durant, KD, last 7 days up 14%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're starting at 7,500, that's $1,000 increase. His PSA 10 Chrome is from 7,500 to 8,500. This, and I know it sounds insane because it's $8,500. This right here is probably one of, in my opinion, of the Hall of Famer / legend players, probably one of the best buys out there. Those cards are extremely condition sensitive. There's only 900 of them. And I could see the ceiling for that card going pretty high. They're going to be a pretty good team this year, even though my Cavs did just sweep them. Sexland, shout out. And, you know, they got a thin bench, whatever, but assuming that they do okay this year, they're going to reload in the offseason with a bunch of cheap vets, build out that bench, build out the depth of that roster. And, you know, if they're not in contention this year, they sure as hell will be next year. But that KD price to me seems cheap if you were an upper end investor, or there's a bunch of his Topps base sets, the white, the black, the orange, etc., etc. And then the goat of goats, in my opinion, LeBron, all his stuff. Once again, I know we just talked about this in this video, but they just keep going up. Last 7 days, he's up basically 30 to 50% across the board, with the PSA 8 actually seeing the biggest jump. I was trying to get into one of these when they were around $3,000 just a week and a half ago. And they're all the way up to 5,000 now. And as fast as was trying to sell things to get to that price point, they were going up even faster. So the dream may have died on that one. I may need to shift down and look at Bowman, but that stuff's flying too. So I feel like I'm really chasing my tail on him. But yeah, PSA 10 had an all-time high at 28.75 this week, up 6,000. The PSA 9 is at 10,000, up $2,600. The PSA 8's up 1,700, almost to 5K. His market's just absolutely insane. And once again, I think a lot of this is what's driving him and Jordan, is what's driving this Wade price increase, Durant price increase, the Jeter price increase, all that stuff, I think, is being fed from LeBron and Jordan market, what it's been doing. It's just having a massive trickle down to all the other Hall of Famers. And last but not least, we're going to end with Sexton, with Sex Without the Land. His stuff has gone wild this week. He's probably the biggest riser in the NBA outside of the Hall of Famers. He came back from injury this week, and they had just an absolutely epic game against the Nets. I posted this in the timeline of the channel. I don't know how many people see that, because you really only see that on mobile, I think, when I make little like Twitter posts on there. But I've never been more wrong about a player than I was Colin Sexton. So everyone knows on this channel, I liked KPJ and Garland more than Sexton. And I was not afraid to say that all off season. And I was wrong. And I am fully embracing Sexland now, because Thursday night's game or Wednesday night's game, whenever that was, when Sexton went nuts, was the most fun I've had watching a Cavs game since LeBron left. And Friday nights was just as fun. This Cavs team is absolutely a blast, and I am having a ton of fun watching them. I just wish there wasn't a pandemic on, so, you know, I could go to that arena with 18,000 people and just kind of feel the energy of that building filled up. But Sexland seems legitimate. Garland is back as of Friday. His prices are pretty cheap, so if you're into the land part of Sexland, you may want to go check out some of his stuff. He came off the bench, so people might not necessarily realize that he's back yet. So, and he didn't put up like a huge game or anything. They were easing him back in because he was off for a couple weeks with a shoulder strain. So if you're into the land part of sex, I would go maybe take a peek at his stuff. Maybe you could buy the dip a little bit if things shoot back up again. I'm not going to lie. The Cavs look like a legit playoff team at the bottom end of the bracket, at least. At minimum, a play-in team. That roster is deep. It is young. And Jared Allen is freaking amazing. Thank you, Nets, for basically just gifting him to us. So that's all we have today. Once again, YouTube stuff down below. If you guys have any comments or questions, leave them down below as well. And we will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.